Well, what's going on, everybody? Today we're just going to talk really quick through Lake Solitude via Cascade Canyon. This is our first day in Grand Teton National Park. I'd never been there before. So we're going to talk through where we entered from the park, kind of the place to stay if you're going to tent camp or whatever. And then we're going to get right into the hiking video, how to get to the trailhead without having to hike the 2 miles all the way there. So let's just check it out. So we entered in through the east side of the park. We actually took a wrong turn at Laramie, which is hilarious, and ended up going straight north into Wyoming and wound up realizing that we needed to cut all the way back east. So we ended up right here at Oxbow Bend. This is it right now. As you can see, Oxbow Bend is absolutely beautiful. This is going to be on the east side of the park, right next to the entrance, right where you're at. From there, we headed to Coulter Bay Campground, which is just north of kind of the main area in Grand Teton National Park. But it's about a 5-minute walk to this beautiful lake that you can see the whole mountain scope and just this insane skyline almost. So I would recommend Coulter Bay Campground if you're gonna tent camp, because the Jenny Lake Campground is super busy. There's always people driving in and out of it, as opposed to Coulter Bay, which is really quaint and seemingly unbusy. There's still showers and lots of amenities like plug-ins in the bathrooms that they have. So I would recommend Coulter Bay Campground 100%. So this is our first official day in Grand Teton National Park, and we took the ferry across Jenny Lake to get to Inspiration Point, which actually leads to the Lake Solitude trailhead via Cascade Canyon. And I would recommend that 100%, because after a long day of hiking, we thought we were going to be troopers and all tough and be able to hike back around. But at the end of it, we were super glad that we ended up taking that ferry across, because at the evening time, you're ready to not be walking anymore. So this is the waterfall called Hidden Falls, right where they drop you off at the ferry. It's about a half-mile walk, so not long at all. And then it's a pretty steep incline all the way up to Inspiration Point. But then from there, it jumps right into the Cascade Canyon Trail. That is so easy because it doesn't feel herky-jerky like you're trying to figure out which way do we go. But it's one continuous trail from where the ferry drops you off all the way until you get into this amazing canyon. So the canyon actually was not busy at all. We had no problem just walking along, taking lots of pictures. And this area right here with all these groves of bushes is actually where they say moose are bedding down often. So we saw actually 2 full-grown bull moose while we were right here in the canyon. You can see him coming out of the bushes. And if nothing else, Cascade Canyon was worth it just to see those 2 moose. The views throughout the entire canyon is insane because it opens up and it's so green, and us going right at the beginning of August helped a lot with the heat, because it actually wasn't super hot like we thought it was going to be, as opposed to going in July. But there's lots of places to stop and rest and look out at the view and maybe just even sit down and have a snack. There were lots of these little guys up on the trail as well. I don't know what they're called, but they squeak so loud right next to you all day, and they are all over the place. So the Cascade Canyon Trail is 9.1 miles out and back, but from start to finish, if you're just going for all the way through to Lake Solitude, where you break off to go to Lake Solitude, it's about 4.5 miles. So the length of the canyon is about 4.5 miles, but it takes probably a solid 2 hours to get through it. And there's lots of spots to stop and rest. We got water plenty of times, had a bunch of laughs and joked around. And then about 2 hours in, we stopped and ate lunch at this awesome river. Super cool. I loved it because it was like the perfect picturesque spot to eat throughout the day, right before you actually turn a corner and start hiking up to Lake Solitude. So it's actually super cool throughout the entire trail on the way to Lake Solitude through Cascade Canyon, they actually allow horseback riding. So throughout the time we were hiking, we saw a lot of horses. And this is right here, the spot where you start to turn and head towards Lake Solitude. Super beautiful. The hike up to Lake Solitude is actually pretty strenuous. There's some steps and spots where we stopped and rested just because we needed to catch our breath, or we wanted to turn around and just look at the entire canyon and the mountains that are in the distance, because it was crazy looking. I would say if you have little kids or if you're pretty inexperienced as hikers, you can definitely do this trail. Be prepared to take a lot of rests, but I definitely think it's possible to do as a family or just as a person who's not super experienced in hiking. So here is Lake Solitude. Takes about another hour and a half to get up to the very top. Water was really cold, not as cold as Delta Lake or some of those other high alpine lakes, but definitely an awesome experience. Would totally recommend getting in the water. We jumped off the rocks, we took a nap. We were up there for probably 2 hours eating and just hanging out and enjoying our time. And then we headed back down towards the Dornans pizza, which was amazing. I couldn't tell whether we actually liked the pizza or we were just so starving from hiking 16, 17 miles that day. But it was some of the best pizza I've ever had in my whole life, it felt like. So definitely check out Dornans. Definitely hike Lake Solitude if you have the time, if you can. If you can't, definitely go through Cascade Canyon for an hour or so. But Grand Teton National Park is great. If you want some more info, I'm going to be posting more videos soon. Or you can check out my Wyoming vlog, which just has all the visuals from our entire trip from Grand Teton National Park and Yellowstone.